Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. For today's video we are going to be talking about childhood and education in the digital era. Now I have briefly touched on this topic in previous videos, but I felt like I didn't go into enough detail and depth. So we're going to do this and we are going to be going a little bit more in detail. During a person's childhood years, much change is happening within their bodies. Their brains are working overtime and they're trying to understand the new world around them. They're trying to learn their native language, trying to gain knowledge on how to interact with others, and learning how the world works. Many changes can occur in a very short period of time for teenagers and youngsters. But how exactly is technology and the digital era changing how children develop? First of all, before getting into the video today, I want to say that a free short course on this topic on the OpenLearn website will be linked in the description box down below for you to go and check it out. It was very interesting, very relevant, and it's not too much of a long course, and it is free. I find it incredibly interesting how much technology has developed over time, and also how different my upbringing was compared to my mother's or even my grandparents'. I often hear stories about different generations and their upbringings and cannot believe the fast-paced environment in which we live. I am only 23 years old, however a youngster today would have again a completely different upbringing and experience than I did. In 2019, a year within the digital age, most of society can't live without the advanced technology that we have become accustomed to: mobile phones, televisions, the internet, etc. They have all changed our day-to-day lives dramatically, and this is one of the biggest attractions of today's technological devices. The digital world is a new and exciting place for many of us. But are we straying away from the traditional family lifestyle? Of course we are. Many of us rely on our phones or iPads in order to keep our young children occupied. But my question is this really a bad thing? An interesting figure here: Ofcom and the NSPCC discovered that at least 1 in 3 children owned their own electronic device and will often use it to access the internet. Also, figures were on the increase when it comes to youngsters owning their own smartphones. Specifically, there is an increase in under 9-year-olds using the internet on a frequent basis. Of course, the internet is a dangerous place, especially for vulnerable children, which is a very big issue for many parents. It is incredibly easy for one to access content that is not at all child-friendly on the internet, for example pornography. And also, they are at risk of being a target for paedophiles. Children in particular are easily distracted by technology. It looks very colourful for them and very new and interesting, and at just one click of a button, it can make something interesting and new happen. It can be captivating and intriguing. If children see that those around them are using digital devices, then naturally, of course, they will want to engage with it too. Children lead by example and follow the behavioural patterns of those around them. An extract from a debate about digital natives from 2008 explores the idea of a new generation of students. It's a thought-provoking article which delves deep into many issues with digital products and their implications, particularly for the educational system. The author of this piece explains that, quote, "educational institutions at all levels are rapidly becoming outdated and irrelevant, and that there is an urgent need to change what is taught and how," end quote. Another quote from the article claims that "we risk failing a generation of students and our institutions face imminent obsolescence." There is a definite need for a new and improved style of teaching to keep up with the constant development in technology. But is this a good thing or a bad thing? When handled in the right manner, the risk of technology to children can be reduced. However, parents in particular are still very much against those who are unable to survive without their digital devices. But technology usage for kids has been previously linked with outbursts of violence, especially when playing violent video games, and also sleep disturbances. So what is the best way to tackle the technology issue with the children of today? Must we really go to the extent of banning any devices or severely restricting their usage? There is no doubt that adults and children work in very different ways, and children cannot analyse risks and issues with accuracy and cannot effectively work to resolve them in the best way possible. However, kids of today in no way lack the intellectual properties necessary when it comes to knowing what is right and wrong. It perhaps mostly depends on if the child develops that skill and if their parents or carers encourage that skill to be developed. Kids can learn to solve problems correctly, and they should of course be encouraged to do so by those in their lives. Kids who are particularly shy or quiet may find solace through the internet and social media sites, as they could possibly find it much easier to form friendships through online rather than face to face. However, digital friends differ from friends that they will come across in a more traditional way. I have covered in previous videos that children, especially when they get older, can be very impulsive. Usually around the age of 12 to 15 years old, they will begin to try new things and explore. This leads to people of that age trying to have as many digital social media friends as possible. They have an immense desire and determination to fit in and to be popular. And that is also slowly becoming the case for today's youngsters, as they are relying more and more on technology. After all, anyone can be anyone online, and identities can become blurred along with what is real and what is not. For example, who is a real friend and who is not, etc., etc. It's not just online friends and what is real and what is not though, as many would agree that using slang and abbreviating words is ruining spelling in our language in general. There is no doubt that using technology has opened up many doors for not just children but for adults too, and it provides a new way of learning and developing for youngsters. It's a way of looking into the big wide world that is out there, the good and the bad. But let us bring it back to education for the last little section of this video. Learners can now access knowledge and learning through technology and applications, and it is easier than ever before to access courses and information by a simple search on Google. Teachers can now create online groups for students to communicate with each other, and even have meetings for them via FaceTime or Skype calls. Many educators upload their content onto the internet for their students to access whenever they like, and schools are now even being taught how to code. The traditional classroom layout is slowly but surely evaporating into thin air as other techniques are coming into play. Even virtual teacherless classrooms have been spoken about. So going by what has been discussed, it won't be long before an updated and newer educational future for our youngsters will be born. Question is, just how exactly will it change, and what will the effects of the educational change be? What are your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comment section down below. It is another very interesting topic. Thank you so much for watching and listening to this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave this video a thumbs up, and if you're new here, click on that subscribe button, and I hope to see you in my next video.